On the evening of August 4th, 2021, what began as a routine traffic stop in Florida spiraled into a devastating tragedy that cost two young men their lives. The events of that day remain a haunting reminder of the dangers of reckless driving and the irreversible consequences it can bring. Around 7:30 p.m., Officer John Nunez of the Florida Highway Patrol noticed a 2022 Kia Stinger speeding on the highway. Behind the wheel was 24-year-old Luis Fernando Cevallos, with 27-year-old Alexis Rodriguez in the passenger seat. According to body cam footage later released, the officer initiated a stop and issued citations and warnings for their speeding violation. The video captures a calm but firm exchange between Officer Nunez and the two men. Cevallos was cited, but neither man appeared outwardly confrontational. Nunez reportedly reminded them about the dangers of excessive speed before sending them on their way. At the time, no one could have imagined that only hours later, the warning would become a grim prophecy. Later that night, tragedy struck. Authorities say that Cevallos pushed the powerful Kia Stinger to 124 miles per hour just seconds before impact. The car lost control and collided with a tractor-trailer, resulting in an explosive crash that left both Cevallos and Rodriguez dead at the scene. Emergency crews rushed to respond, but the scene was one of devastation. The force of the impact was so severe that neither occupant had any chance of survival. Video clips from responding officers and EMS personnel show a somber atmosphere, with first responders working under the weight of the tragedy. Investigators later confirmed through data and crash reconstruction that the Kia had been traveling at nearly double most highway speed limits just before the crash. At such extreme speeds, reaction time is virtually non-existent, and the human body is left defenseless against impact forces. While the car itself, known for its high performance and fast acceleration, was not inherently to blame, the choice to operate it recklessly sealed the fate of both young men inside. Footage from after the crash also shows Officer Nunez interacting with fellow officers and EMS. The tone of his conversations reflects both professional composure and the undeniable weight of the situation. For law enforcement officers, such moments are deeply personal reminders of how fragile life is and how quickly routine stops can turn into tragedies. Nunez had given a clear warning just hours before the crash, highlighting the risks of speeding. Sadly, the message went unheeded. For officers across the country, this incident stands as a painful reminder of the limits of their reach. They can issue citations, deliver warnings, and enforce the law. But ultimately, responsibility lies with the driver. The crash sent shockwaves through the local community, sparking conversations about road safety, high-performance cars, and personal responsibility. Many residents expressed heartbreak at the loss of two young lives, but also frustration that such reckless behavior continues to plague highways. Traffic safety advocates pointed to the incident as an example of why ongoing education, stricter enforcement, and public awareness campaigns are critical. Despite years of warnings about the dangers of high-speed driving, incidents like this continue to claim lives every day. While the details of the crash are tragic, they underscore a broader truth. Speeding kills. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, speeding contributes to nearly a third of all fatal crashes in the United States each year. Excessive speed not only reduces a driver's control, but also magnifies the severity of accidents, often turning survivable crashes into deadly ones. For families, friends, and communities left behind, the loss is permanent. For drivers, still. Tempted to push the limits of speed, this incident should serve as an unshakable warning of the consequences. The Kia Stinger, a powerful car built for performance, became the stage for tragedy. After the stop, the car was later recorded traveling at 124 miles per hour, a speed far beyond what any road or driver can safely handle. Seconds before impact, that reckless decision sealed the fate of Cevallos and Rodriguez. The car collided, with a tractor-trailer in a violent crash that left both men dead at the scene. What was once a night filled with possibility ended in wreckage, heartbreak, and an unshakable reminder of how fragile life truly is when high speeds are involved. In the body camera footage that has since circulated, Officer Nunez's professionalism is clear. During the initial traffic stop, he conducted himself with calm authority, issuing citations and warnings without hostility. Later, at the crash site, his demeanor showed the weight of witnessing the consequences he had tried to prevent. For law enforcement officers, this story is a haunting example of the limits of their influence. Police can stop, cite, and warn drivers, but ultimately, the choice of how to behave on the road rests with the driver. In this case, the young men were given a chance to reconsider. Tragically, that chance was lost. The deaths of Cevallos and Rodriguez are not isolated events. Every traffic fatality sends shockwaves through families, friends, and entire communities. Parents lose children, siblings lose brothers, and friends lose lifelong companions. For first responders like Officer Nunez, the trauma of such scenes lingers long after the wreckage is cleared. It is easy to see reckless driving as a victimless thrill, a moment of adrenaline, a test of limits. But the aftermath proves otherwise. Cars speeding at 124 mph do not only endanger their occupants. They put every other driver, pedestrian, and passenger at risk. In this case, it was only the two young men who paid the price. In many other instances, innocent strangers also become victims. Driving is often taken for granted, treated as a routine part of daily life. Yet every time someone gets behind the wheel, they are entrusted with immense responsibility. The car they control is not just a mode of transportation. It is a machine capable of destruction when misused. This tragedy underscores that responsibility. Cevallos and Rodriguez were young, with years of life ahead of them. They had dreams, relationships, and futures. In a matter of seconds, all of that disappeared, not because of bad luck, but because of a choice. The lesson is clear. The thrill of speed, the rush of testing limits, is never worth the risk. Roads are not racetracks, and cars are not toys. Recklessness on the road can cost lives in the blink of an eye. While nothing can bring back Cevallos and Rodriguez, their story has the potential to save others. Communities remembering them may take solace in the hope that by sharing their story, others might make better choices. Parents may show this tragedy to young drivers. Friends may remind each other to slow down. Drivers may pause before pushing the pedal too far. Tragedies like this should not be forgotten. They should serve as warnings, reminders of what is at stake every time someone decides to drive recklessly. The story of Luis Fernando Cevallos and Alexis Rodriguez is not just about two lives cut tragically short. It is about the ripple effect of one reckless choice. On August 4, 2021, they had a chance to change course after being stopped and warned. Hours later, that chance was gone forever. Officer Nunez's professionalism during both the stop and the aftermath illustrates the role law enforcement plays in trying to prevent such tragedies. Yet, as this case makes heartbreakingly clear, the final decision lies in the hands of the driver. The Kia Stinger crash stands as a powerful and painful reminder. No thrill of speed is worth the cost of a life. Each time someone gets behind the wheel, they carry not only their own future, but also the futures of those around them. As communities remember Cevallos and Rodriguez, the hope is that their story will not be forgotten, but instead serve as a lesson that saves others from the same fate. Reckless driving is not just a personal risk. It is a gamble with lives, futures, and families. And as this tragedy shows, it is a gamble that no one truly wins.